All right. Oh, on Thursday, yes. On Thursday we were discussing on the Anicca-Nupassana, on the notings on anicca, impermanence. I said a number of things in this anicca. Actually, I can't remember what I said. I have to go back to my notes. Okay. Let's share screen. Share screen. Hold on now. I can't remember what I talked about. Where is it? Yeah, here. Okay. Okay, can you all see? Can? Right, good. Now, last week on this one, on Thursday, we looked into this. As I said, anicca, what is, when you say anicca, then 5 aggregate is anicca. Why when we talk about dukkha, 5 aggregates is dukkha. When we talk about anatta, 5 aggregates is anatta. But when it comes to characteristic of anicca, then it's different. The characteristic is the momentary arising and passing away of formations or objects here. That means the arising and passing away of moment to moment, this mind and matter. Then Anicca-Nupassana is the observing, the noting on the characteristics of this arising and passing away. So dukkha also, today we're going to look into it, and then another day we'll look into anatta. Then I said that anicca we look into also like arising, passing away, and change, non-existent after having arisen, and where the knowledge of dissolution, which is the 5th knowledge of insight, the progress of insight. Here, when we see the destruction of phenomena, we see the destruction of the mind or the body, or the mind and the body, or they go together. It goes into disappearance, and then after that, things arises again. Then the prominent part of it, they see the breakup, they see the dissolution, they see the disappearance of the formation, of the object. And therefore, when we reach to the knowledge of dissolution, then this is the peak of the perception of anicca. The perception of anicca. Usually we talk about usually we talk about the knowledge of arising and passing away, which is the 4th knowledge. That the 4th knowledge also has the nature of, it's arising and passing away, It is the first aspect of anicca. It's a very deep aspect already, but when it comes to a more powerful one, the more stronger anicca is at the knowledge of dissolution. So, although, as I said, they falls under anicca, but when you observe the characteristic of anicca, they are different. They are different. And even like knowledge number 3, knowledge of comprehension, there's also another anicca here. Again, there's a different from number 4 and number 5. Because of the characteristics are different, but they fall under the same context of anicca. Later we'll talk about number 3 also. Number 3 also is quite interesting because they are very haphazard state of mind, or haphazard state of noting at number 3. So sometimes the yogi become very confused of what they are doing. Many times actually, not only sometimes. Okay. Now, what is important here is the observing power. The observation of anicca, that means you have to keep your attention there, to pay attention to this arising and passing away again and again and again and again. But in the beginning of the practice, you do not see this arising and passing away. In in the beginning of the practice, usually you will see something like change. Okay, you will see some rising, some falling, or the rising become longer. Then after that, the rising becomes shorter, or the falling become longer, or the fallings after that become shorter. You see, there's a change, but it's not arising and passing away. It is a little bit of anicca, but not the deep aspect of anicca. So just don't think that when we see a little bit of change here and there in our vipassana meditation, we think that we're already inside deep anicca lakkhana, or the characteristic of anicca, or the deep aspect of insight. We are not there yet now. Still got a lot to do. Another way here is another part of the other commentaries. Then this is as arising, passing away, or change, or momentariness, or denying permanence. Here, denying permanence is simple, because the moment that you're able to see all this arising and passing away repeatedly, then the idea of permanence cannot arise at the perception of permanence cannot arise at that time. They are abandoned, or they are abandoned at that time, or they are being substituted by seeing impermanence again and again and again and again, moment after moment. So denying permanence. Now why is this? Okay, dukkha. Now, before we carry on to the Dukkhānupassanā, there's something that's going to help you to develop in the vipassana. Perhaps many of you have seen it before. Now, in the practice, especially in the vipassana practice, many of the yogis, if they have been trying hard in the walking or in the sitting, then they come to a notice at certain time that when they walk, the feeling of the walking as if like is being break up into smaller pieces. Like for example, there's a movement, of a leg, of a right step, Then the right step is not just only one flow, but it's a number of smaller flows, like a section after section after section after section that some of you may be able to see it. But sometimes also more observant yogi, then they can able to see that in the lifting itself, there's also break up, then only actually it arises. Then or sometimes in the pushing aspect of the walking, then also they notice breaking up, maybe 3 or 4 times before it reached to the end of the pushing. Then when it drop, also the same thing. There's another one, dropping 3 or 4 times before actually it touched the ground. And many of the yogis can actually notice those things. And not only these things, but sometimes also in the rising, falling, or in the in-breath, out-breath. They don't see the in-breath, out-breath as one goal, but they see a number of the in-breath maybe comes into a section. One in, one in, one in, one in. You didn't see the out yet, but it's like the going in, there are 3 or 4 sections of going in. And it's coming out, there's also 3 or 4 sections of coming out. So do the same thing when they see the rising and falling. Or even they notice the movement of their arms as they were drinking, and when they are mindful, they notice there's a breaking up before they reach the cup, or the hands before the hands reach the cup. Now, these things, this phenomena, this observation, it's a very good observation, especially for the beginner yogi, because here, what you are looking at is right now, you begin to break down the continuity of phenomena. Begin to break down the continuity of the phenomena, and that is good, because that is the beginning. That is the beginning where we're going to see more changes and more deeper insights. it gives you a little bit before all this rising and passing away moment after moment. And it come, that one come later, the arising, passing away all come later. But in the beginning part, those breaking part now, it is also important for the yogis to understand those things, because every yogi usually will pass through these type of things. The whole thing is that it's going to break down, it's going to begin to see the discontinuity of phenomena, of the objects. But your mindfulness, it's very clear at that time. You don't see how the mind changes. Usually, you see the physical form, because they are more gross, they are more clearer for you to see all these phenomena is taking place. The mind is a little bit later. Now, usually. After that thing, when you're able to see the physical process as it's breakdown, then as the mindfulness breaks up, the mindfulness, the noting mind begins to, become stronger. Then you can actually notice that the discontinuity of the mind also, the noting mind also is breaking up according to the movement, the sectional movement of the leg. And all these things, it comes by itself as you begin to pay attention. It's not what you want or how you want it, but it is the nature of development. The process of development, the process as it progresses in the mental development, especially in the vipassana. So these are something like in the beginning, and then that is good, because that is at least you feel that there's something that you are doing in the vipassana, and then becomes interesting. Not just only pain here, pain there, pain everywhere, pain. But the thing is that when we come to the next one, yes, this one is where you're going to see a lot of pain. All right, let us, since we are talking, so the anicca will continue with the dukkha. It's part of the whole progressive nature. Now, in the Dukkhānupassanā, it says that one who develops the contemplation or the noting on the unsatisfactoriness or the dukkha abandon the perception of pleasure. Now, this one is a very deep in meaning, and also all the way until you reach arahantship. All the aspect of this Dukkhānupassanā, and it's deep. Now, when we talk about Dukkhānupassanā or Anicca-nupassana or even Anatta-nupassana or whatever nupassana, including your Kaya-nupassana or your Citta-nupassana or Vedana-nupassana or Dhamma-nupassana, all this nupassana thing is this. It's not your everyday dukkha. It's not your everyday meditation. It's not your day-to-day form of your meditation. For example, let's talk about dukkha here. Now, when we talk about dukkha, here is when we are reaching out to Dukkhānupassanā, this is not thinking about your birth, aging, what else? Illness, death, separation from loved ones, and so on. This, you already done it already, and it's already deep inside you already, before you come into Dukkhānupassanā. So in other words, you keep on thinking about the dying, thinking about this one, still don't really come into Dukkhānupassanā yet. No, not yet. But those are very good contemplation or very good pondering or very good reflection. There's no denying about it. But if you equate those things as Dukkhānupassanā, then that is not right. Yeah? So too, when you look at things are changing and so on, life is changing. Morning is this weather, afternoon is hot, at night is raining. Oh, weather is changing. Oh, I'm doing anicca-nupassana. No. Totally. You may say this is anicca generally. Yeah, you're not wrong. But if you actually use the word anupassana, then there's something wrong. There's something wrong is there. Yeah? Now, let's give you an example. Give an example. For your daily suffering, your daily illness or whatever that you are going through, all this suffering that you're going through, we want to overcome that suffering. We want to overcome that suffering. But the thing is that now for most people, we will stop until overcoming the suffering, but we don't go further than that. Because from that overcoming of suffering, it goes to another path. It's going to seeking for pleasure. And that pleasure disappear, change into suffering again, then again seek out for pleasure. Again and again, we're going to go round and round. That's why we're going to stay in the samsara. But for you a little bit more wisdom, then we think about it further. We ponder over it a little bit more deeper. We know that this is suffering. Finally, we need to go and abandon the suffering. And somehow or another, you're able to get you begin to learn the Dhamma. Or you have spiritual friends to help you, to guide you, or spiritual teachers to help you, guide you, to understand this nature of this suffering a little bit more, which is good. At least you're applying wisdom. You listen to some wholesome, some spiritual friends, or learning the Dhamma, and then you apply your reflection, a proper reflection, wholesome reflection, and then you begin to start to do a lot of wholesome deeds and avoid a lot of unwholesome deeds. And then again, when we come to let's say, to many of us, again we stop until here. Further than that, after that meditation, vipassana, they don't want to go there. We stop until here, do good deeds, avoid all the unwholesome deeds and so on, and then that's it. That's about it. Sometimes good deeds also we don't want to do so much also. Yeah. So a lot of sometimes Buddhists or friends, they stop until here. Now, after they come into meditation. Here I put that meditation because there are different kinds of meditation. Sometimes they come into all kinds of like samatha meditation or vipassana meditation, or even not only that, but they have all kinds of non-Buddhist meditation. Yeah? Because they ponder a little bit more deeply about life and so on, about suffering, about dukkha and so on. Also, they want to try some meditation, and people try this meditation. Yeah. Then, if they somehow or another they found the vipassana, then they come into vipassana. Yeah. Now the thing is that for a lot of people, it takes so much time from number one, the daily suffering, until to reach until meditation. For some people, take 20 years, 30 years before they really want to start off with some form of meditation. Isn't it? Look at yourself. How long have you listened about the Dhamma? And then only you want to take up some degree of meditation. Now, then after that, you come into vipassana. Okay, you come into vipassana. And then again, many of us, this vipassana, we stop until here only. Vipassana, we haven't come into anicca-nupassana or dukkha-nupassana or anatta-nupassana. Not yet. Vipassana only. Why? Because their meditation is once a week meditation. Once a week meditation, pre-COVID time, or even right now, there already some places are open. Okay, once a week they go meditation. How much they meditate? Now they meditate for maybe half an hour, 45 minutes. After that, that's it. Every day also they meditate like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 1 hour, and that's it. You do vipassana, you may do rising, falling, you may do in breath or out breath, and so on. You only reach here only. That's it. Here only. You haven't come into Dukkhānupassanā or Cittānupassanā or Anicca-nupassanā and so on. Not yet. Most people, when we come into vipassana, is this part here. They have some degree of meditation, but they cannot penetrate any more further. Why? Why can't they go further? And there's going to be a number of reasons. And one of the big reason is the pain. One of the biggest reasons of this, why we cannot go any more further, is because it's the pain. And many of us fail there. And when you fail there, what do? Of course, they go back into meditation. They look for some other form of meditation which does not involve much of pain. Or any form of pain arises, you just shake it away or move your leg or just don't ignore it or just ignore it. Many of us do that. Because pain, as later we're going to see, is going to open up many doors for you to this one, to go into a further deeper aspect of this Dukkhānupassanā, or even this development of this vipassana. So just give all these things, just make sure that you know where you are. And hopefully you know that you need to go further. You need to go further. Not just stop here where we are. You may have an excuse of like COVID lah, this lah, that lah, Well, that's your excuse. I've seen people also during in the COVID time also, they can do retreat also in their own place or whatever that they're doing, Anyway, we're really going to talk about this dukkha and why we then don't go any more further. So this is just an example. Yours may be a slightly different, but this is something that I think of. So just to show you that a lot of us, we don't go further than that. We stop where we are only. And sometimes it's a whole life thing. We stop until wholesome deeds only, and you never want to venture into meditation or any vipassana or any more further. All right. Now, okay. Next one. Before we look into further about this dukkha, then we need to know the different category of dukkha. Now, this category of dukkha usually, or most of the time, I will use it because it's connected to the development of vipassana. I use it because it is connected with the progress of vipassana. Now, a lot of times when we look at dukkha, it's that we look at aging, birth, thinking, suffering, anxiety, and those things. Well, those things are also dukkha, but if we think that those things are all about the only dukkha there is, then we do not know the underneath the iceberg. You just only know the top of the iceberg. Although the top of the iceberg is also suffering already, but the underneath of the iceberg, underneath the water line, when you cannot see those iceberg, that one is really huge, very big. That is where the Dukkhānupassanā, the observation on this dukkha, you will begin to penetrate into the different aspect of the dukkha. So now we have number 1, number 2, and number 3. Dukkha. So the first one is the painful dukkha. Then the painful dukkha, this one is connected with all forms of unpleasant feelings, whether it's mental or whether it's physical. Now, this painful dukkha here, it is like, the normal things that we talk about, birth, you have illness, sickness, separation from loved ones, association with the unloved one, non-lovable one. Those things are all under painful dukkha. Okay? And this is mostly what, number one is mostly what we think about. But it's the number two and the number three that is going to bring you much more further into the development of Dukkhānupassanā. And number two here is this viparinama dukkha. Viparinama dukkha here, it's dukkha due to change. And it's connected with some pleasant feelings. We talk about change in the anicca. And also we talk about change in the dukkha, because the change and the dukkha, they comes together. And here again, when we talk about the number three, the sankhara dukkha, dukkha due to formations, or this formation is this bodily formation or mental formations. And all these mental formations are, what are they? What is their characteristic? Their characteristic is all arising and passing away. So the dukkha is due to this arising and passing away. So all this dukkha, whether it's connected with all these unpleasant feelings or pleasant feelings or neutral feelings, all those things are they're going to impact you so much that if you see it with wisdom, it begins to abandon the perception of pleasure. The perception of pleasure. And I'm going to see why pleasure is another big problem. All right? Now, viparinama dukkha. No, okay, sorry. We talk about dukkha first. Let's talk about dukkha. We go back to this thing. This is the progressive part here. Number one is where you begin to have some insight into the development of vipassana. And usually there is a separation between mind and matter. Sometimes I hear about singularity or duality and so on, sometimes in certain texts and so on. And all this singularity, duality, everything is void and so on. Sometimes it's very one. But in the insight, during the insight where you can able to separate this mind and matter, you don't go and think of all these type of things anymore. So the moment that you can able to see the separation, you can see the separation, this is the mind that is paying attention to the movement of the object or the movement of the rising and falling, and you know that there's a matter or the body that is moving. So when you can able to notice these two things, then there is a discernment of this mind and matter. And they are not only happen once, they're going to happen many times for most of us. And many times that means you're going to able to see when it breaks up. When you begin to see how they begin to separate. When you notice those things, the anatta becomes prominent and clear to you. But at the time, many of us don't even think that this is anatta, because after all, we don't think of anatta in our everyday life, isn't it? We think of dukkha, we think of pain here and there, we think of change, we think of anicca in the more superficial form. Then we think about those things. But when it comes to anatta, we don't even think that this is anatta. We think that this is something is just, it's there, but it's anatta. Sorry. But the thing is that when a yogi reaching to the first insight and the second insight, this is where the dukkha is going to be so strong for many yogis. Okay, we're back again. The word dukkha here, the unpleasant feelings. Now, the unpleasant feelings right now at the first insight and second insight, it is where you only see pain getting more and more and more. You don't see how it ends. And a lot of yogis become very disappointed because whatever that they think that their meditation is supposed to come, and sometimes they are thought, certain yogis I've heard, they are thought that after all, life is so much suffering already. Why you want to come to meditation to go and see more suffering? Isn't it being foolish of all of you? Then this type of things I've heard from monks before, from monks and teachers, and then of course the devotees. Why life is so suffering already? Go retreat someone to suffer. Myself, let me enjoy being pleasant, being nice, being at peace, being at calm, and so on. We want that because we seek pleasure. Unconsciously we seek pleasure, even right within the Dhamma itself. Not that you come to Vipassana, not that you come and seek for pain, So that's not that also. We come to Vipassana is because we want to seek the penetration on the dukkha, on the three aspects of the dukkha. It's the penetration, the wisdom factor on the dukkha. And that is one of the main goal of Vipassana is the penetration of it. Not go there and suffer and so on. If you go there and suffer, you go to Vipassana and you just suffer, then again, during the time when you are meditating, you always will seek for something pleasurable. You will go back to the same old craving and desire, and you will seek for the same pleasure. And every time the pain comes, you don't want it, you get out from it, you don't want to see the pain. Every time, your whole psyche, because you are being taught in that way. And nowadays, I've seen yogis and so on. I heard, and this is, enlightenment is happening in the mind here. What for we want to go and look at the pain? What for we want to look at the body? Look in the mind will do lah. What for? After all, enlightenment is going to be there on here. No, it's not that. This is people's, their perception about what when they talk about Vipassana, And a lot of times behind their words, they don't realize that they are just avoiding a lot of unpleasant things. Or they don't want to see unpleasant things. And then other words, the mind is still seeking for something pleasurable. Not painful, not painful. Not painful. Maybe not pleasurable, but just not painful. But something neutral maybe, And a lot of us are doing in that way. And sometimes it says that, what for you want to see all this dukkha? Go into samatha, go into jhana, and then you come out from jhana, no need to see all this dukkha anymore. Straight away can enlighten already. Yeah. So simple. Because they don't realize that the nature of the dukkha is to abandon the perception of pleasure. We have so strong our pleasure. So here the number one, we go back to this one again, the progressive part of it. Now the number one of it is when you come to this part here, although at the inside you see anatta, you're observing the anatta lakkhana or the characteristics of anatta, but while you're doing it, you're being surrounded by pain and pain and pain and pain and pain. Yeah? And that, as I said, can be the breaking off for you to go further, or you pack your bags and you go back, and you're never going to start vipassana anymore again. The pain is strong. And why does the pain is strong? Now, there are one thing how the pain becomes strong. Normally, if your attention, if your mindfulness, concentration, and your effort, all this mental noting, when they are not strong, when they are not continuous, your pain also will not be strong. Your pain will only be very mild pain in here. Only when you develop certain degree and you consistently practice and pay attention, as your mindfulness become more continuous, the pain also become clear to you. That means it become challenging to you. That means it become very horrible to you. And that is the nature. Because when the mindfulness and the concentration, all this noting, it enhance, it magnify the true nature of things as they are. And the true nature right now is the pain. So the pain becomes also big, becomes also strong, and becomes also clear to the yogi. And we need that clarity. Because that clarity is you're going to penetrate into the dukkha a little bit more. But if your mindfulness and so on is not strong, your pain will always be kind of like far away, very mild, very easy, nothing much, Then you sit there also very song, very pleasant. Got pain or not? No pain, Bhante. So nice, my sitting today. So wonderful. Not that I'm looking. I'm not that not that I'm always looking for pain, on you. It's just that if you do that, if your mindfulness is not strong, your nature of your meditation is going to be like that. I'm talking about vipassana, not talking about samatha. We're talking about vipassana here. When your mindfulness is strong, when your clarity is strong, you're going to have a lot of pain. And the pain is one of the indication whether you are progressing or not. And here we don't want to see the pain. In the beginning part, that pain is something that you have to be courageous and to go through. Even sometimes you not until your tears all come out. Oh, come out. You don't cry, but you really suffering inside there. Yeah. So, this is the nature of the beginning part of it, of the vipassana. And many of us have to go through pain. Now, I know some of you are in that stage, dealing with this pain, and sometimes you do not know what to do and so on. One of the thing that is help you to able for you to sustain on the pain, that means sustain on the pain means that your mind has to pay attention on the pain again and again, right? Now, in order for the mind to pay attention on the pain, you need a lot of good walking meditation. And the more that you can able to do this walking meditation properly, precisely, thoroughly, you don't just don't do your walking there, just go walk up and down, and then suka you as you like, you sit, as you like, you walk, as you like, you do this. No. It has to be very disciplined. We give you 1 hour, you try to finish it. Not like 15 minutes you take a cup of tea and then drink, and then like yogi, and slowly only you go there, No, not that right. You go 1 hour means 1 hour. You do it there. And then some people overzealous, oh, Bhante, can I do 1.5 hours? Don't, don't overboil everything. Everything will explode after that. It's just enough to build up your momentum, that momentum, and then that momentum, especially the pain when it comes with the sitting meditation, you can able to put the mind there, sustain the mind there, observe what is the pain is going through. Even it goes more and more and more until your tears come out, your mind can able to sustain on it. If you don't do in this way, what will happen to you? Every time you watch the pain, your anger will come up. Your aversion, your dislike, and you're thinking about the time, you're thinking about getting rid of the pain. Should I change the position, and should I do this and do that? It will naturally come up, because here what happened behind it is that you already start to seek for pleasurable mental state or pleasurable state of the body. The anger is just the front. The behind it is that you begin to seek for something pleasure. You're thinking about whether the bell is going to ring or not. Why? Because when the bell rings, no pain already, ma. You can move your leg already. You can get up already. It's all about the pleasure. It's all seeking for the pleasure. So, you see, the pleasure is so easily cover up the true nature of dukkha. So, therefore, next time when you go into a retreat, especially vipassana, don't underestimate the walking meditation. You do your walking meditation properly, not only you can able to withstand the pain, but all your objects of your meditation also become magnified, becomes clear. Your rising, falling also becomes clear. Your in-breath, out-breath becomes clear. Your mental states also become clear. Your Citta-nupassana also, everything become clear. Your chitta, your thinking, everything become clear. And not only that, your mindfulness become very sustainable. And that is going to be very helpful for your deeper penetration of the objects and seeing their true nature of anicca, dukkha, and anatta. So, let's go back again. All right. Now, here, this first and second one, the pain is strong. But when it comes to this third knowledge of comprehension, the dukkha is somewhat different. It's still a lot of pain, but now the viparinama dukkha becomes clearer for you to see. Viparinama dukkha, the dukkha due to change. And then sometimes it's connected with pleasant feelings. You see pleasant feelings change quite clear, but also the unpleasant feeling changes also becomes clear. That means here, at the knowledge number 3, what you will see, yogis will see, is that the dukkha itself becomes strong, very strong, but you see how it ends also. It come like it goes into a peak, and then it disappears. Then you feel a relief. Song. And then after that, it come again. Wow. And then after that, it relief. And it come and it goes, it come and goes, and it come and go. Then here, you begin to see a change in the dukkha, in the nature of dukkha. In the nature of dukkha, you begin to see it's changing. But whereas in the first and second, you only see more and more and more and more. Every time you sit down, so much dukkha, there is so much dukkha. But this time, when it comes to number 3, the change of that dukkha becomes more clearer. But at the same time, the dukkha is still there. Okay, that's why we put under dukkha here. Okay? Now, while you are at number 3, or the knowledge number 3, again, this anicca also becomes like things comes and go. Like for example, like when you see an in-breath, out-breath, in the aspect of anicca, you see the in-breath, how it starts, exactly how it starts, exactly how it goes in the middle, and exactly how it ends. Beginning, middle, and end, you can able to see it. Whereas in the first, you don't see the beginning. You see in the middle only. Number 2, you see the beginning. Well, number 3, you begin to see the beginning, middle, and end. So you begin to see the anicca in the sense of viparinama also. The dukkha also in the sense of viparinama also. And the later part, the anatta also, is because of the anicca and dukkha that is going to merge together. It will show you anatta in another form. We'll talk about anatta in another thing. But now is that this dukkha, you see a change. You see the disappearance of that particular dukkha. The change in that dukkha that's happening already. It's kind of a relief, actually. Yeah. Sometimes in the beginning part, when you meditate, every time you feel that it's going nowhere. Everything is pain only, because the one is a seek for pleasure, like most of us, we do that. When the anatta is, although it's part of the insight, we don't see it as prominent part of it. What is going to see the prominent part of it is the dukkha aspect. And here when it comes to number 3, the change and the dukkha, they're all like merging together. And together with that anatta come together. So here at the knowledge, sometimes at one sitting, things may go quite well. You can see rising, falling quite well. And then after that, the next sitting immediately gave you all kinds of dukkha. And you can see the dukkha come, go after the head dukkha, and then the tension in the head, the tension in the neck, then body here, buttock here. The place never have any pain before. And you also begin to notice how come there's a pain there. All the changes of the pain starts coming in to the yogi. And sometimes it mix up with all this anicca and so on. So that's why it become very, mo-cha-cha, you do not know what you're looking at. But the thing that you know that you are alert, you know that you are mindful, you know that you are not sleepy, you know that you are not going to the story, the thinking and so on. You know that you are noting everything, but you do not know what is it that you are noting. Because you got no name for it, because everything is all mixed up together. Then after that, you see anatta. For example, you see all these things is not within your control. You no ownership. Everything just come and go as the condition arises. And then you also begin to see some degree of anatta. You also at this point you see intention becomes clear also. The discernment of mind and better also become clear. All kinds of anatta also mix up into it. So that's why I put there anicca, dukkha, anatta. It becomes clear to the yogi. So when they say knowledge of comprehension, actually it says that the further the word is knowledge of comprehension by groups. I don't want to put the word group over there because the grouping means when we teach, for example, it categorizes into anicca group, dukkha group, anatta group, just like what we put over here. But when you actually seeing it, it doesn't come in like, oh, I must see this one first, then I see that one, then I see the next one. No. Everything all roja inside there, mix up, everything. So this is the dukkha aspect. You see the dukkha in the sense of change. Viparinama dukkha. So now, at that stage, at number 3 also, it's where the pleasant feelings also become more prominent to you. Because in the beginning part of your meditation, the unpleasant feelings becomes prominent in you, kind of like you never see any form of pleasant feelings. But this time, The pleasant feelings becomes more prominent because why? Because of again, your mindfulness, your mental development, your continuity of your concentration, your mindfulness, and so on becomes much more stronger. Then the pleasant feelings at certain times, they also become a prominent object. Apart from all your pain and all your changing and so on. So now we take note of these pleasant feelings. Now within these pleasant feelings, especially, sorry again, we go back here. Okay, number 3. At here, number 3 and number 4, your pleasantness, pleasurableness becomes more prominent compared to other stages of insight. Even talk about nibbana and so on. The pleasure at number 3 and number 4 here, they are at their optimum level. I use the word optimum, not as a maximum, at their optimum level. And this time, the yogi in a certain times, at this stage, they find that it's a very pleasant meditation. Meditation is going very smoothly. Every form of pain comes in, you can take note of them quite easily and quite nicely, and as if like you sit down. You don't have to go and look for your object, but the object is already right in front of you, and you can already able to notice. The moment you sit down, the whole stomach, in breath, out breath, everything, you can just sit down and then you start noting already. Whereas in the beginning part, when we begin meditation, we sit down there. What do you notice? Bhante, Reverend, see nothing. Everything I go inside there, I sleep only. I do not know what I'm noting. That one in the beginning, But then this time, you sit down already, your object is ready for you already. Not you get ready for the object. The object is ready for you. So you see a lot of phenomena is happening inside there. And one of the very clear phenomena that's happening is on the pleasant feelings. And one of the pleasant feelings, it can come in different forms. And this is where a very strong test for a yogi, in the beginning part, you see all the pain, so much pain. Now, the pleasant feelings comes to see whether you trap you or not, see whether you're just like the bee, fly, and then you see the honey, bloom, inside the water, inside the honey, and then get stuck. Nice and sweet until it dies. So here also the same thing. Now if you cannot able to watch the pleasant feelings that's coming in, and you get caught into it with your craving, and because after all we seek pleasantness, we seek all this pleasurable in life. So these things, when it comes in, you can many yogis fall around here, and here is where they call it the 10 imperfections of insight is coming in. Now let me see, where is it? Okay. The 10 imperfections of insight. Now, this talk, this particular talk, that you can go back to last year in Facebook, which all the videos are, all the Dhamma talks, all the videos are there. Then you look for this 10 imperfection of insight. I think there are 2 talks just to talk about all these type of things, and many of these things is connected with a pleasant feelings at this time. For example, aura means light and so on. And then you sit down there, wow, so nice, all the light coming in, red light, white light, blinding light, very peaceful light. All this connected to a lot of pleasant feelings behind it. But although the front is the light, that's why he called light. Joy also the same thing. This is piti. The Pali word is piti or zest or rapture. And behind it is again pleasant feelings. But the pleasant feeling is not prominent. What is prominent right now is the joy. For example, when we are everyday life, also the same thing. When we laugh and we smile and when you know, the front is the rapture or the front is the joy, but behind it is the pleasant feelings. So the piti and sukha, the word piti in Pali and the pleasant feelings, which is, there are two different things. One belongs to the Vedana, which is the feelings under, you know, the pleasant feelings. And then piti falls under mental formation, falls under sankhara in the five aggregates. So they are different. But they are closely connected, but usually the front is the joy. Now the third one, the pleasant feelings becomes the prominent factor. Now the pleasant feelings becomes the prominent factor, and that prominent factor becomes so strong, and then this type of pleasant feeling is not connected to all the sensual desire. It arises through the development of your meditation and the development of your insight. As your momentum picks up, then that sukha can be a clear object to you. If you're going to look for this sukha in the beginning of your practice, you can never able to find it. It's very far behind it. Everything what is in the front is all this joy and all these lights and so on. So when it comes into especially the third part, and where the sukha becomes much more, the feelings become more prominent. So that one also connected with pleasant feelings. Now the passaddhi also the same thing. Passaddhi here means tranquility, means this time your mind become very quiet, but still nothing at all. Not quiet and empty and blank and you do not know anything at all. Whereas this tranquility is part of the 7 factors of enlightenment. It's not just your own interpretation of tranquility. This passaddhi here means your mind is totally free from all kinds of thinking, all form of thinking, but it's able to do the noting in a clear manner, quiet manner, and so on. Number 5, resolution. Resolution here means connected with a strong confidence or strong saddha. For example, some people, they sit down, they meditate, things become clear. And as I said, as your mindfulness becomes clear, your mindfulness becomes strong and continuous, everything is being magnified, including your conceptual thoughts also. Your conceptual, that means your thinking, your story also become very clear. Sometimes as if like you can able to recall back into your past, that every day you don't think about it, but because of the clarity of that mindfulness, penetration part of the mindfulness, you can able to recall back to the very, very, very far. And sometimes some people recollect back to the past life also. Now sometimes some people, because of their inclination is faith, then they recollect all kinds of like Buddha images or Buddha rupa or the Sangha, or they gone through a monastery and so on. So while they're meditating there, they sit down there, they meditate there, they are supposed to watch their in-breath, out-breath, rising, falling and so on. But they get caught into all this. Oh, one time I was there, so wonderful, so happy, and I wish that I could go back again. And then you start planning while you're sitting down there. Maybe when I go back, I start planning where to go and give dana, or where should I go, which monastery I go. Maybe by the time April comes in, or the government start to open up already, maybe I go and start booking my ticket already. Go here, go there, kai already. Yes. It's all your pleasure talking. Although in the front there, it's all faith, but behind it, it's again, what is that? It's again, you're seeking for something pleasurable. And here also the same thing, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. It can be, especially 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8 here, what happens in your meditation at this moment of time is that you feel that your meditation is going quite smoothly. Everything you sit down, everything is there already. You don't even have to exert your mindfulness. You just sit down, everything just go on for the 1 hour straight. 1 hour straight. Think the bell, you just get up only. Or if sometimes you feel that you want to go a little bit more. So your exertion becomes very balanced. That means your exertion becomes very balanced. Your penetration, that means your knowledge and jnana, here means that you can able to notice whatever that is happening at that moment of time very clearly to you. And then your mindfulness, the upatthana, is very continuous. Not just mindfulness, but this is continuous mindfulness. Alright? A continuous mindfulness. At this moment of time, you feel that you are quite a great yogi, a wonderful yogi. And that you sit down, all your objects are going. Every sitting that you go, every walking that you go, you don't have to struggle. Isn't it fun to meditate in that way? Isn't it fun? Isn't it good? Isn't it we want the meditation to be in that way? So if you're not careful only, and you delight into it, and you delight into all this form of meditation, and you expect that your meditation is going to go like that. From here until future, I think the pain is all over already. Goodbye pain, hello pleasure. Everything, my meditation is going to come, is going to be happy. I don't have to see all kinds of suffering and so on. I'm you think you yeah. So you get attached to all these type of things. Even you can get attached, supposed to be your mindfulness, supposed to be good for your meditation. But when you recall back, mindfulness, I think, this mindfulness, very good. I think next in the coming future, this mindfulness is going to be always continuous anymore. You're not going to be like staggered here, like in the past, I meditate here, break there, break here, after that, angry. No, you see the mindfulness all very distant. Yes. Here, other words, you get number 10 is where you get delight into it. Now here equanimity. Here another word for equanimity. The equanimity here is not the feelings equanimity, but the equanimity here. That means your state of mind, everything is in balance. That means your mindfulness, penetration, concentration, everything in their tip-top condition. Optimum level that you can able to notice everything. It's interesting. It's really interesting at this time. And sometimes some yogis experience like bliss more than others. Sometimes some yogis experience more lights than others. It's just different. It's a different expression in each and every one of us. So you cannot go and compare, did you see the light or not? How come you don't see the light? I see the light, you don't see the light. Then if you ask that, then it's all, it's just different. It's just different. All right? So they are all different. So a lot of pleasure is happening inside here. Now, pleasant feelings. Now we come back here again. The problem is that with most yogis is that they get caught up with all these things, pleasant things. And the thing is that when they get caught up into it, it gets very long and they get caught into it. So long that they get caught into it that they do not want to let go of it. And then how they meditate, every time they sit down, they meditate, what do they want to see? They want to see the lights. Or they want to see the Buddha Rupa. Or they want to see that image again. or they want to see the joy that comes together with that meditation. Every time they sit down, for year in, year out, sometimes for some yogis like 20 over years, they have to got caught into it. All these pleasant things. All these pleasant phenomena, it does not mean only at the third stage or fourth stage come in only, It can come in all stages. It's just that at the third insight, we get caught into it. Before the third insight, it means that the first and second one, you also can be quite strong. Because your mindfulness and everything, it doesn't enhance it yet, but at the third, it enhances it. At the later insights, like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, although they are still there occasionally, but you know that this is not the actual thing that you should be attached to. You already know it yourself. So whether you can able to pass through here or not. At this number 3 and number 4. So what you should do when all these things come in to you. Let's say if the joy factor comes in, you sit down there and then you feel that the body is like wave coming in, one wave after another wave, then you feel quite good, quite pleasant, and that time all your pain completely disappear, as if like there's a kind of like a massage chair, like sometimes you see the massage chair, they go up and they come down. Or this time also you sit down without anything, you feel that the joy is like going up, going down, just cleansing all your toxin away or whatever you think, Give you a good massage, give you a good this one, and then you feel really good when you come out from it. So back to this Dukkhānupassanā. So what you should do is this. Tell yourself, if all these things come in, tell yourself, hey, just note it, don't enjoy it. Don't enjoy it. Say first, at least you say first. Then after that, you take note of it. Take note of it that, hey, not pleasant. Happy. Light. Or pleasant, or sometimes faith, or you can see the images of the Buddha and Buddha. But don't attach to the Buddha. It's all mind makeup only. So all you need to do is just keep noting on it. Then when you keep noting it, what you will experience later on is that you're going to see the changes in that pleasant feeling. And the pleasant feelings, after that, you get dimmer, and gone. And again, sometimes it comes again, you know the steps of how to note them, and you keep noting them, and then they disappear again. It comes in again, in another form, in another way, in another phenomenon, another mode. Then you keep noting. And every time you see all these pleasant feelings, you see them how they changes. That is where you see them long enough, it is part of the whole Viparinama dukkha. In the beginning part, you see the Viparinama in the sense of anicca. But then later on, you find that it's nothing for you to hold on to. This phenomena, finally when you're aware of it, later part they're going to disappear. So there's nothing to be delighted in. So therefore, at that moment of time, your mind begins to abandon the perception of pleasure. So don't get too attached to the pleasant phenomena. But nevertheless, these pleasant feelings and so on, they can come in in your meditation. You use them in the sense that these pleasant feelings, they are basis for your concentration and your mindfulness to arise. You still need some degree of pleasantness in your body and so on, but not for you to attach to them. There are two different things. One, you use them for your development. The second, some people use them so that they want to attach to it. There's two different things. Yeah? So hopefully when you understand this, that when it comes into Vipassana, we need to bring the mind out again, not the pleasant feeling, or not the joy, not that faith, not the lights and whatsoever, and not them. Again and again and again and again. Then you fall back into the Anicca-nupassana or Dukkha-nupassana. It doesn't matter. Yeah? So this one is important. Now, the next one, Sankhara Dukkha. Now this Sankhara Dukkha, it's where you begin to see the Sankhara Dukkha at the 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Give me a bit, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes before I let y'all go. Now, in this Sankhara Dukkha, it's slightly different from the first one and the second one. And it connected with neutral feelings, but at this time, the oppressiveness of the dukkha, of the arising and passing away that you're going to see, is going to impact you so much more stronger. And when it impacts you in a different way. Now, although here we put under dukkha here, you see at this one, we put under dukkha here, then you see that there's a fearfulness, misery, disenchantment, desire for deliverance, reflection or reobservation. All these things falls under dukkha. There are also different modes of dukkha. Later part, another talk also, we're going to talk about fearfulness also in that sense. But right now, how when you see the anicca as arising and passing away, as something breaking up again and again and again, then the next thing when it comes in is the knowledge of fearfulness. The knowledge of fearfulness, it means that you do not have something that is consistent for you to hold on to. You see, when in our life, we seek for something stability. We want to have a relationship, a stable relationship. We want to have a stable state of mind. We want to have a stable economy. We want to have a stable health. We want to have a stable life. Everything we want is stable. We want that stability. And we seek for those stability. We work for it. We work for that happiness. But when we see a dissolution, arising and passing away, and dissolution again and again, and things keep on breaking up, then the next notion, the next state of mind that is going to come is that when you see this arising and passing away, and you keep on disappearing, then your usual thinking about stability begins to disrupt by all this dissolution. And therefore, that little fear that starts to come in, it starts to creep in. And that fear is going to oppress you because of that arising and passing away, or because of that change, because of that dissolution. It's going to oppress you because your idea of stability begins to break away. And that insight is showing it to you. So the stability behind it is also pleasant pleasure. So here we begin to break away that idea of stability, and it's going to go stronger because this time that dukkha aspect is going to go stronger into a lot of dukkha, and when we come into like number 10, sometimes I said this is the mother of all dukkha. We'll talk about that, I think, in another talk. Now it's already 10:05 already. Okay? We stop here for tonight on this dukkha, and then we're going to continue the dukkha on the next Monday. On next Monday. But on Thursday, we're going to do a Q&A session. After the 3 talks, I think we're going to start with the Q&A session. Now, the Q&A session, just like last year, what we're going to do is this. Let me see. Hold on. Okay. Hey, stop sharing. Wait, hold on. Exit. Hold on. Let me go to Sister Hunling. Yeah. Let me share again. Okay. Can you see the phone number? All right. Okay, good. Now, your questions, you send it to Sister Hunling. Yeah? Sister Hunling, you send her through WhatsApp, and I think, I'm not sure whether it's the same number compared to last year, but this is the number. I'm not going to put it up in the Facebook or put it up in YouTube, I mean, write it down, So you better take down and you write down somewhere, because this is all people's, it's a personal number. After all, so you send your Dhamma questions to Sister Hunling by, let's say, by Thursday afternoon, maybe 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, around that time. So I can able to compile those questions. So by Thursday evening, I can able to do this one. Now your question will be good that if you connected with the Dhamma or connected with the Dhamma talks that I've also mentioned. Don't ask me the type of questions if you got your, let's say you got your problem with your mother-in-law. Bhante, how am I going to solve this problem? That one I cannot help you. Sorry. You got your problem with some ghost or whatsoever. Then also I'm not a saikong, not all these type of things. I'm just a Buddhist monk only. So this type of question, more of a Dhamma questions. All right. Okay. So let's go into we share merits.